how many scholarships has Jeremiah won? How much money has Jeremiah won to date?
He has applied to 56 scholarships. He has been awarded 18, and then the rest are pending. The value of his renewable scholarships as of today is, I'm just recalculating it because it still blows my mind. It's $84,000. So that's over 4 years. And then of his non-renewable, he's at just over $8,000. So the total between the two, to give you specifics, is, wow, he's at $92,166.68.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is India Prather. I am the CEO of the Art of Scholarships, and we are back with another series of our Leaders in Access. And today I am so happy to have Miss Shanika Norman join us all the way from California. Miss Norman is a parent of an incredible high school senior, and I have invited her on the Leaders in Access series so she can share her experience of working with her son during his high school year, of winning scholarships, and just the process and the journey that they went through. I know a lot of parents watch our Leaders in Access series and they have questions. Today's series is just for you parents, from one parent to another. Let's hear from Miss Norman and her story. Ms. Norman, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for the invitation. This really means a lot to me.
You're so welcome. So to start us off, you're more than just Jeremiah's mom, okay? And we don't want the audience to know you just as Jeremiah's mom. So can you please just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, your son, and where your son's headed off to college?
Okay, so a little bit about me. Vocationally, I'm a library assistant and I'm a certified financial educator. So researching is like my jam. I love finding resources, being a resource. And I've been doing that for eventually all my life. That's how I ended up falling into it. I just like knowledge and applying it. So we are from California, born and raised, have been here. And it's myself and Jeremiah. And he will be headed off to his number one choice, California Baptist University, in the fall.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, so first off, congrats on getting your son to this point. I know it is not easy raising a son. So getting him to this point and getting him ready is just a huge accomplishment. Before this process began, he's graduated, senior year is done. Before this process began, what were your honest thoughts about getting ready to apply to college and how to pay for it? Walk the listeners through this experience. I know parents will really be able to relate to how you were feeling.
Okay, well, to be honest, before I could even get to that thought, I had to battle the school district because Jeremiah he learns differently. And so he's on an IEP. And his school only had him on a track to get a certificate of completion and only have the community college as an option for him when he ended high school. So I had to fight his freshman year and let them know that although he is a freshman, I have to already be at senior year planning for him and reverse engineering it and advocating for him that, yes, community college, great, but that shouldn't be his only option. As he matures and starts to come into his own, you close off the doors for him to even have traditional college as an option by the time he becomes a senior based on where you have him. So I had to fight. I had to advocate with the administrator and then ask, okay, we'll have him in this set of classes. I'll try it for a semester. If he proves that he doesn't need to be here, what are the options to catch him up? Because in California, for our public schools, you have to be A through G. You have to have A through G completion. So it's a certain matrix of classes that you need to complete within your course of high school in order to be even able to apply to a University of California or a California State University. It doesn't apply to out-of-state or private schools, but definitely public schools. So from there, fought that battle. And then mentally, I knew, like, I'm not going to be able to pay for college. I had student loans of my own at the time. I had to take an income cut and transition to a different industry. And so it wasn't an option. But I decided to educate myself. And one of my prayers was, okay, God, if Jeremiah, he wants to go to college, please let him get paid to go to school. Like, not even just pay for school, let him get paid to go to school, let him get paid to learn. And left it at that. And that's where I was. I really had to allow him to do it year by year, but I had to be in the future reverse engineering to make sure he was on track class-wise and positioning himself. So that's where I was. I had to already be at the end while we were currently in the present. I had to be in 2026 and 2022.
No, that is so huge. And I think that for the parents listening to this, I think that is like the key phrase here, reverse engineering, because sometimes I work a lot with parents while I'm not a parent, I work a lot with parents and with you too, that sometimes parents are just trying to take it day by day. They're working multiple jobs. They're in school themselves. They have multiple kids. And so we're just like, if I can just make sure I have food for my kids on Saturday, then we're good. If I have dinner for them on Sunday, we're good. We're taking it day by day. But I think you're saying something that's huge. If your child is trying to go to college, and really just your child trying to get your child out of high school and prepared, period, you have to reverse engineer that, because children are not thinking 4 or 5 years down the road and what they're going to need then. And, as a parent trying to get day by day, like trying to live day by day in the moment and trying to also reverse engineer what's going to happen or what you want to happen for your child 4 years from now, that's hard. So I know I did not plan to ask that question, but can you tell or give parents a little bit of advice, or those that are just trying to live day to day in the moment and provide for their child, but yet they need part of their brain to like think 4 or 5 years from now for their child at the same time? Any advice or tips on how to do that?
You have to be intentional, because you want to come home, eat your dinner, go to bed, or just Netflix and chill or read your book. But I had to carve out time each day. Not for me, it wasn't just once a week, because for one, I had to ask, okay, is college what you want to do? Yes. Okay, what type of college? I don't know. What's available, and educate myself about. Even though in our schools it was A through G, I had to take a moment and pause and say, wait, that's only for California public schools. So what if he doesn't want to stay in California? What if he doesn't want to go to the public school? So I had to just take time and educate myself as to what the possibilities could be and what that looked like. And within that, what programs do they have available that could possibly get him in or pay for him to go to school? So every day I would just research a bit, 30 minutes, an hour. I would just research. And I was in school myself. And I ended up taking a break because it was a little bit too much. I took some time off so I could focus, especially when his grades started to slip and I had to help him get back on track. But it was okay. It's difficult. And I realized it requires mental energy and time. And sometimes you're just tired. But I made a decision as to the type of parent I wanted to be. And one of my things is that my ceiling should be his floor. I don't want him to have to get it out the mud. If I had to struggle, I hated it. Why would I want you to struggle? And I really have to break my mindset of that. I have to do it, so you have to do it. That sucks. And I've already been through his phase of life, so I have a little bit of a leg up, and my brain is fully developed to where I can research some stuff and instead of trying to delegate it to him. But it is difficult, but I definitely had to be intentional and put like 30 minutes aside to an hour and just say, okay, let me educate myself about what this may look like.
Okay, I love that. So that leads me to my next question. So now we're approaching senior year. We're getting started. We know college, and we know we need to find scholarships. So when it comes to me and the Art of Scholarships, what made you decide to attend the free scholarship webinar that I offer? And why? And I'm just going to ask you a few questions, like why. I see you have the book in the back, The Rich College Student, and the workbook. So why did you even invest in those materials and then ultimately attend the scholarship boot camp? Like what really made you say, let's give this lady and her company a try here?
Okay. One thing about me is I'm do my best to remain coachable, and success leaves clues. And I'm in a Facebook group with a mom whose daughter's Miss Hamilton, whose daughter has worked with you and definitely has the results. And she shared your post about your book. And so when I saw the post about the book, I'm like, oh, the book, it was a nominal cost. I was like, yeah, let me get it. Oh, there's a workbook bundle. Let me get it. And then I started reading it. And I actually got it for my son first before I bought myself a separate copy. Because I was like, oh, this is what I've been trying to tell him. And then when I found out then I would be on your Instagram live. So then I started following you and then the TikToks. And I was like, oh, okay. She's dropping knowledge. And I think I attended, anyways, the free webinar because I needed to collapse my time frame in learning. Since this was new for me, I did not have time to waste to give to Luce for the learning curve on how to help him write scholarship essays. And the way my patience is set up with my own child, I was not going to be the best one to do it anyway. So I attended the webinar. And then when the offer for the boot camp came, I spent more and gotten less return on things in life in general. It was an investment to me, an investment that has paid dividends, but it was well worth it. And because each Tuesday webinar that you gave and your IG lives, you provided so much value above and beyond. Like you answered questions. And then because of other stuff I had seen, I said, oh, okay, she actually knows what she's talking about. I listen for what's not blatantly being said to see how to vet the information. So I attended the boot camp because I'm like, shucks, we got to get on this. Like, I don't have time. And like you always say, free gives you ideas. It can only take you so far. And it can, if you're willing to put in the additional time and work. We're rolling up on his senior year. I didn't have the time to filter through the information myself. I needed to learn from someone who has done it and has repeatedly done it, has duplicated it in themselves, in others. So that's why I invested in the workshop. Not once, but twice, because each time is different. And I've been to the free webinars multiple times because each time is different. There's some type of nugget, some gem that gets dropped that wasn't dropped before.
Thank you.
So that's what caused me to do it.
You hear it first, everyone. I passed her vetting test. I'm glad I passed. Yeah. Before we even talk about how much Jeremiah won, because that is like the big secret that everybody is tuning in wanting to know. You attended the webinar in the fall. Obviously, we're now fast forward his senior year. We're in June. He's graduated. But it was a journey. It wasn't an easy breezy few months that went by. So you attended the webinar and you guys were excited to start applying to scholarships. Walk us through from leaving the boot camp to now you actually having to sit down with Jeremiah and say, we're doing this, we're taking this advice, and we're not going to stop. As a parent, tell us what that experience was like.
Well, I didn't mention this. I took advantage of all of India's bonuses. So I actually had a call with her before and got notes and attempted to implement the notes myself with Jeremiah. It's like all teenagers. Oh, okay. But delegating wasn't getting it. It wasn't getting it. And then we were coming up on his college application season because in September it was free because I don't want to pay for any application fees. If I can find a fee waiver, I'm going to do a fee waiver. If you have a free window, we're applying during the free period. But getting him to write his essays was like pulling teeth. And I had got to a point to where I didn't want to fuss at my son continually because I wanted to maintain our relationship. This is hard. And he has to still get through school and he plays basketball. So it's basketball season. So we have practice games. And then you want me to come home and write an essay? I don't even want to write. So I ended up scheduling him a call with India once I got him to write something for his admissions essay because he missed the first no fee application window period. And then they opened it back up about a month later. And I said, no, you have to. And so I just let him write. I didn't analyze what he had written. I just let him write just so he can get something down. And I started reading it and I was like, oh man, like I had him work with India because I didn't. And she told him what he needed to hear.
Yeah.
And she was honest. It wasn't to hurt his feelings or his pride. It was real, and he appreciated it. And then, even with the correction, she gave him something to work on. So it's like the sandwich. Like you say something kind, build them up, but then you give them the feedback that they need, then you build them back up again. So it was definitely, and gave him mature work, like asked him, like, answer these questions within your essay. Like, this is what you need to address, cut this, add that. And that helped tremendously.
I will say, you remember the comment that I gave, and I do not remember. I said, oh boy, I cannot believe I said that. And the mom was sitting right there. You want to tell the people what I told Jeremiah that we'll now never forget for the rest of our lives. But what did I tell her?
She told Jeremiah he was writing a bunch of nothing. And that's exactly what it was, a bunch of nothing. And I'm glad she said it. She said, you're writing a bunch of nothing, and then told him and asked specifically, like, are they coming after you for X, Y, or Z that you have in your essay? He said no. She says, so why are you writing about it? Are they coming after you for X, Y, or Z? No. So why are you writing about it? So yes, she said you're writing a whole bunch of nothing, but she showed him what was nothing. And then told him, like, this is the point of the essay. This is the outcome. This is what you want. So we need to write the essay to help you get what you want. And that was his college admissions essay. And he got in with the corrections.
Yes, we were so excited for that. And it's so funny because I think a lot of students, they think they put words on the paper and they're like, I'm producing substance. And just because you have words does not mean that it has value. But Jeremiah learned that day. And clearly he didn't just learn that day. He learned for the rest of the year. So I'm going to ask you the big question, and then we're gonna backtrack on like how you did it. So
okay.
To date, right now, because you guys are still working on scholarships and applying, so this number is going to change come September. Yeah. But to date, how many scholarships has Jeremiah won? Or how much money has Jeremiah won to date?
Okay, so as of today, let me timestamp it for you guys. Juneteenth, 2026, Friday, he has applied to 56 scholarships.
Wow.
And of those 56 that he actually applied for, he has not been awarded, that we got notification of, 15. And then he has been awarded 18, and then the rest are pending. But he also, since school is done and his final transcripts, he brought his GPA up to earn a renewable academic scholarship from his college of choice also. So that now is included. So the value of his renewable scholarships as of today is, I'm just recalculating it because it still blew my mind. It's $84,000. So that's over 4 years. And then of his non-renewable, he's at just over $8,000. So the total between the two, to give you specifics, is, wow, he's at $92,166.68.
God is so good. God is so good. This is a student that his school counted out. They said that he wasn't college worthy, 4-year institution college worthy, because he had an IEP and he learned differently. And he had a mom that said, no, you're not going to count my baby out. And on top of that, when he was applying to these scholarships, y'all, he didn't have the highest GPA. He did not. He didn't have over a 3.0 at the time that he was applying and, winning. Now his GPA has obviously went up since then, but at the time that he was applying, the GPA that they saw was not a 3.0.
No, not at all.
This
Ooh,
is
not
what
at
it looks like when hard work, faith, and prayer come together.
all. Yeah.
And this is what it looks like when God calls you from the back to the front. And
And
whew, okay. I'm sure parents can be like, well, what prayer did you pray for your baby that I need to pray for my baby? We're gonna hold off on that one because we do wanna know what were the specific strategies. You came to the boot camp, you came to the webinars, you read the book, you did the workbook, but what were the specific strategies or lessons that you got from me and the artist scholarships that you were really able to tweak it with Jeremiah? Because I wasn't at the table with you all day in and day out, but you all had the resources. So what did you use in the resources?
so I have screenshots on the pyramid, the essay pyramid, like the formula that goes into it, and I have to go back and reference it actually quite frequently because sometimes I'll forget. You want to have something academic, you want to have a personal story, and one of the things I really take, I think it's chapter 2 from the book, is how to become a storyteller, and really reviewing the essay of beforehand, like what they're writing before and how it changed, and getting that opening hook, really trying to use that. And then because I had him use his academic struggles, but it really, that's the opener, but it allows them to say the characteristic versus him saying I was persistent. They see persistence in it by the way he told the story. And one of the scholarships that he won actually said, you know, this happened, but then you saw how you persevered and you kept going and showed that. They said that, but he never mentioned it once in his essays. So really showing versus telling, actually using it. And, you know, we used AI, but I didn't use AI to write the essay. I did what you told us, which taught him how to coach himself with AI. Is it answering this question? Don't rewrite anything, like critique it based on what is mentioned. There was a prompt and the organization does what I have answer this prompt, and it would tell them yes it does, no it doesn't, it could be stronger here or what have you. And I used it as an assistant for times if I'm like, okay, let me teach you how to use it to help you don't have it write it for you.
Right.
I'm not doing that. It's helping you brainstorm, it's helping you have it as your assistant.
Definitely.
So that's what I am, really the storytelling and the comparison and getting that hook, and then remembering like, oh yeah, the judge may be tired 9 o'clock at night after dealing with a full day, or that you finna bore them with your essay, and they're like, next. Are you getting to the point? And really answering that, why do you deserve this scholarship, or how will you use it, making sure to tie that in as an ending. This scholarship will help me buy specific X, Y, and Z, allowing me to focus on school or whatever, how it will specifically help.
I love that. And I'll add to those listening with AI, if you please do not let your students use AI to write the essays. As Ms. Norman
No.
said, the scholarships, they run them through AI trackers. They will catch it. So will college admissions. So we don't use AI to write. We use AI, like you said, like a litmus test. Like a lot of students, sometimes some scholarship prompts are very convoluted, or sometimes they're like multi-question in one essay. And sometimes students may zone in or focus on answering one of like the 3 or 4 questions being asked. And, you know, having AI there, like you said, to put the whole essay in and say, here's the full prompt, here's the essay, did I answer it? AI can tell you, well, you touched on question 1, but you didn't answer the other 2 questions. And then that's when you hop out of AI and then you go use your fingers to write and revise the essay. And I just want to clarify that, because we are not advocating for AI to write essays. We do not do that at TAS.
Because you're already showing a lack of integrity. To help you brainstorm, but not write. You still use your original thought and story and in voice to tell your story, but the kids use it. Let me show you how to use it properly. Let me show you how to use it as an assistant. Let me show you how to utilize technology. It does not think for you. It helps.
Right. And that is key. And I'm glad that Jeremiah got like a 2-for-1. He learned scholarships and how to use AI properly. So he is a good mom. Um, so,
Well,
okay,
thank you.
I'm going to ask the follow-up question. A lot of parents are going to know, what was the prayer that you prayed over your son um, during this journey? Because, I'm a believer, and I believe that this is not just us, that God is also in this process, and we can't leave him outside of it. So, what was your prayer that you prayed while you guys were doing your part and going through it?
So my original one was very simple. Look, let Jeremiah get paid to go to school. Just, I didn't know how. I didn't actually know financing your education through scholarships was a thing. So until I got on this journey, and I was like, oh wow. And then one of my other mentors, because I have it in my notebook, I didn't bring my notebook in front of me, but I give God all my worries, like everything that I'm concerned about, I literally give it to him. And I ask him to in exchange, give me your peace. And I insist on Jeremiah being blessed by you. Let evil get lost on its way to find him. May he be blessed in the generations. May he receive his inheritance. And I would insist on it and what she told me, and which made sense to me, was how in scripture it says, Jacob I loved, but Esau have I hated. And I've always wondered, like, why did you hate Esau? And when she shared what the Lord exposed to her, is because Esau didn't ask the Lord for his blessing. He cried to his dad, where Jacob ended up fighting the angel of the Lord for his blessing. And he looked for his blessing from God himself, where Esau didn't. And I've been guilty of that. And so, to come to God to bless Jeremiah, anything that our generation has lost and been withheld, let it come back and find him. May money be multiplied. May time be multiplied. May favor be multiplied. If my voice vexes him, rebuke me from vexing him. Allow Jeremiah to hear God's voice over any others, and let him be led by God, and that God would send destiny helpers, people to help me, that he gives me favor with God, with himself, and with man, and that people who have favor, their favor works on my behalf and of my son. And I just asked, and I remember we had a conversation to where you said it was the 3 E's. God will allow you he will expose you to it. He will allow you to experience it so you can then expect it. Well, in the scholarship journey, I've been exposed to India and several others as to who have financed their education debt free. And so he exposed me to it. Then he allowed me to experience it. So before I decided to go he led me to go back to school, I had almost $80,000 in student loans, 78,000 some change to be exact. And I was able to get my student loans forgiven via the PLSF, because I work in public service. I said, oh, okay, that's great. And it was forgiven on my birthday, actually.
Happy birthday.
And then when he was like, go back to school, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back to school. I just got no, thank you. I'm good with my associate's degree. I don't need my bachelor's. So I go back to school, and I'm like, okay, I got to go back to school. You're going to have to finance it. Like, I'm not doing this. I started winning scholarships. I applied for scholarships and started winning scholarships. So I was able to go back to school, which I'm still in, to finish my undergrad via scholarships. And I'm getting a certification, and that has been paid for via scholarships. And so over $50,000 in scholarships for my education. So he allowed me to experience for myself. And now I'm expecting it for my son. And that it just shifted. Like, I knew it was possible. I've seen it was possible, heard it was possible. Oh, if this is really possible. So yes. When I pray, it's not like a wish. Like, I know it's possible. I don't know how it's going to come about, but I know it's possible. So I pray with the expectation of it happening. And people think I'm nuts. I promise you, people, good friends, I will share this. You didn't ask. Be careful on this journey who you share your hopes and dreams with. Not out of fear, but out of the fact that they speak out of their knowledge or what they've seen, and they can speak doubt. And it can come from a really good place. But it doesn't align with your faith. I was told, let Jeremiah do his own thing. Like, he got to figure it out. Don't help him. Focus on yourself. Because I took a break from school. But I need to get him done. I'm going to be all right. Girl can make some things shake. I'm resourceful. He's still learning. I've been told, well, he's not doing it for himself, so don't help him. He was 17. Very few 17-year-olds are that motivated that they'll do the whole process by themselves. It's daunting. It is very cumbersome. I partnered with him in this process. I don't do it for him. I partner with him in this. If he's at school 7 hours a day, basketball practice another 2, 3 to 4, he's going to come home. He's hungry. He's tired. And I'm expecting him to sit down and search for scholarships for another hour or two. He's tired. So yes, I help my child because I want him to be successful. And I had people tell me, like, don't do it.
Yeah, that reminds me of like my mom and I's journey. Like, it's teamwork. I think a lot of parents think that when it comes time to transition from high school to college, because society says they're adults now, and most parents are like, well, you're responsible, you're a good kid, you get good grades, or you're in extracurriculars. Sometimes parents think that level of responsibility automatically transfers over to the college application and scholarship process. I'm gonna tell you right now, it does not, parents. It does not it does not compute for these teenagers. And it doesn't transfer, number one, because it's brand new. But then number two, this is optional in a way for them. There's no grade attached to this. There's no immediate consequence or punishment. So if they let that scholarship pass, there's no consequence for it. So it's going to always be the last thing on their list to do at the end of the day. And if they are tired and they're exhausted, they're going to skip the application. And so that's why it is partnership. I know my mom went lots of sleepless nights with me, even if it was just, okay, India, you write that essay. And when you're done writing one essay, I'm going to stay up and edit it. And then you're going to write the other essay. And you just have this little system in place. It sounds like you did the same thing with Jeremiah. You said, hey, I know you're tired, but I'll help you research the scholarships while you write the scholarships, and I'll edit it and you'll write some more. Parents, you have to figure out how to help your child through this process if you want a debt-free experience. Now, if you just want them to get into college and owe money, then it won't be a lot of work.
Yeah, because he'll wake me up. Like, I'll go to sleep and he'll wake me up like, okay, can you read my essay? And I'll get up and I'll read it. And I must say, I can't take credit for the full prayer because I got it from Dr. Monique Thompson, because I asked her, what you pray? What's the secret?
Yeah.
So she helped me formulate it with the words, especially because it was her revelation that she got about Jacob and Esau. And she helped me with that. So
I love that. I love that revelation. Thank you so much for sharing the prayer. So I have another question. For the parents that are listening right now who feel as if their child is not the perfect child, the poster child, they don't have the high GPA, or they don't have the test scores, or for one reason or another, their child hasn't been super involved. Like, their child's not coming to the scholarships and colleges with the perfect application in place. What would you say to encourage them? Or what do you wish someone would have told you in the beginning of your journey?
Your child is unique, and you use their uniqueness to help them stand out. So there's something, it may not look like the cookie cutter poster child going to get all the scholarships, but you don't want them to be that. You want them to have their own story. And you search for your child's strengths or uniqueness and highlight that, and look for scholarships that are aligned to who they are, and they're aligned to the mission of the scholarship. We have all the big ones, the Coca-Cola, the Gates, the Quest Bridge, all of those that could be GPA. Don't stress yourself out. The baby ain't got the GPA, just go and let it. It's okay. Just, we're going to have to let that one go. Because we got enough sparkles in our hair. No need to add it, trying to put a square peg into a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't. Find what's aligned for your student. If they're early on, like freshmen, start now. It's like, okay, well, this is start getting them involved in things that they do like, that will make for a great story for them. What did they learn from it? What values could they get out of it? instead of like, how does that help them have and start having to apply the stuff early. Doesn't matter if they win. Yes, we want the win, but you have to get them to practice of being able to tell that story and being able to write it. So I would say don't unnecessarily stress yourself out. I've done it and it wasn't worth it. And yet here we are still 5 figures later with him not being the mold and being himself and utilizing his basketball and the leadership things that he has done and career exploration that he has done, trying to figure out what he wants to do. That actually turned into leadership experience. I didn't know that, but it was a way to frame him for leadership and then taking initiative on trying to figure out what is it that I want to do. Like, it's great to explore potential careers, and that makes for a story. Because now you go in with an informed decision like, oh, okay, I chose this major because, I figured this actually will work for me. I'm actually interested in it. Why do I know I'm interested in it? Because I've done X, Y, or Z to find out I didn't like all the other stuff that I thought, but I actually like this one, so I want to delve into it deeper.
I love that. And I think, as much as we want the child with the highest GPA, perfect SAT, ACT score, and 1,000 clubs, some parents are going to get that child. But the reality is most parents are not going to get that child, right? And so I think that your advice is very helpful for parents that, like you said, hey, my child deviates from the ideal golden child. Is there anything in it for me? Is there anything in it for my child? And Jeremiah is proof that, yes, there is. They're not always looking at your GPA. They're looking beyond that and who you are and the story, the journey. His GPA barely scratches the surface of like who he is. It starts the story 9th grade year, but it's like, oh, wow. Like when you get to learn more about Jeremiah and all the things that he's done and how he has really evolved from, his school telling him that he can't be to now he is and he can. There's a whole journey in between. And I think you and Jeremiah have learned how to unlock that story and tell it in a way that resonates with scholarship committees. And I think parents, that's what I want you to realize, is that you don't have to have the perfect child. You don't have to have the perfect story. Not every story is like there's no perfect story. Mm-hmm. You just have to tell your story the best way possible.
It's like, and I didn't frame, and I say I because I had to coach him, not frame his struggles as a sob story. Nope. It was not a sob story at all. It was just the hook, but this is how I overcame. This is what I put in place to triumph, to show grit, to persevere, to overcome. But it wasn't a woe is me, break out your violin. Not at all. It was just like a sentence or two.
And I also I like that you said that he used other experiences too. So it seems like there were sometimes he wrote about his academic journey, and it seems like there's other times that he wrote about his volunteer experience and like internships. So can you briefly speak to that? Because it doesn't seem like you guys kept the same story for every scholarship. And I think that's key.
No, he actually applied for a local car club scholarship and won, and he chose the prompt about voting. So it was like you're trying about voting and the youth and voting. And he had actually participated in the African American Leaders for Tomorrow program through the California Black Caucus. It was 3 days, and so they worked on a specific, bill. Oh, I can't think of that was presented to them about using artists' rap lyrics in criminal cases against them. And he also worked within a program with our city for a future leader. So he worked with our city council. I had him use those two. Well, actually, I just told him, oh, this is how you could have experience. Remember, you did this, the alt program, and remember, you did the future leaders. And so he also, let me pause, has a scholarship resume. So meaning we keep track of everything that he's done, all of his involvement. So that way his scholarship resume is his basis for his essays. He picks like 2 or 3, and I got that from Dr. Thompson, to highlight, to match up with the essay. So he's not trying to just randomly think of an experience. We have documented experience that he has done and which one of these experiences would go best with this essay. So for this particular essay about voting, he tied in about the mock committee that he was in, and then explained why voting matters and how the youth can be involved. And he used that. And for his opener, he happened to be turning 18 the day after the scholarship was due. So he started it with like, tomorrow I turn 18 and voting will no longer be a theory, it'll be a reality for me. So, but he used that experience that he had from participation in a 3-day event, in a 10-week event, and wrote that was material for that particular essay.
I love that. That was a great experience too.
Yeah.
And I think that,
involvement.
right. And I think that that speaks to what you're saying, like parents, or what Ms. Norman was saying, identify what your child is gifted in or allow them to explore other opportunities. So they do have stories to tell, right? It makes it a lot easier when you're sitting down for scholarship, writing for scholarships or college, and you have literally a slew of life experiences, whether it's in the community, at home, at the school, wherever it's at, versus sitting down and you didn't do anything in the community, you don't do anything at home, you don't do anything at school, and your GPA is kind of and your test scores are kind of then it really does become a lot harder in those instances. So we're not saying you have to have your child be perfect, but what we're saying is make sure that your child gets out there and has experiences on their journey of self, of becoming who they are. That's just as important, and scholarships value that just as much as they would look at a GPA.
Yeah.
That's
because he's only taken like 2 dual enrollment classes, and that was just senior year. But other than that, he wants to be a leader. So leadership experience, and had to remind him like, oh, didn't you work on X, Y, or Z? He actually did a virtual law program 1 year, and they did a social justice initiative. Well, you could actually write about that experience because you did do a project regarding social justice. So you have some experience. And he doesn't want to go into law, but he knows that now because he did a virtual complimentary camp, got some experience from it. Now he has additional material.
I love that. Okay, I am going to ask you one last final question before we depart today.
Okay.
How has winning these scholarships helped you and Jeremiah? And just beyond money, what has this experience meant for you and Jeremiah, and what he even sees as possible for his future?
Well, I told Jeremiah, you can do hard things. You being awarded scholarship is proof that you can do hard things, and people see what you are doing and value it and believe in you and can finance it. He was determined. He was only going to California Baptist University. Sir, how are you paying for it? Because it's $70,000 a year. Let's just call it what it is. And tuition usually goes up about 5% each year. So starting at 5. And I said, you have to do this or you don't. And so he was like, okay. And he did I'll get to it. Okay. But he was open to get scholarship coaching. He was open to attending the boot camp. So I'm like, I'm going to sign up for this. He was like, okay, well, I'll be there. And he would come. He was sleepy, but it has boosted his confidence more than anything. At this point, Jeremiah doesn't care the dollar amount. Some people want to apply for a $500 one. Jeremiah will. He goes, well, that's a little bit less. That's more money. This journey, he went to, because he was in an education program with one of our local universities, and they did a senior summit where they talked about financial aid and the whole 9. Well, I think she was one of the peer advisors came in and she told them, I'm not going to lie to you guys, you are going to have to take out some student loan debt. Like you saying that you're going to school debt free, don't believe that everybody has to take out student loans. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, because I asked him how it was, and he was like, okay. And he goes, but there was one thing I didn't agree with. And it was that statement that he didn't agree with. He did not agree with everybody has to take out student loans. And I said, well, why don't you agree with that? He said, because there are people that have gotten through school debt free. They've done it. And at this time, he had not won his first scholarship yet. He just said, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. That's not my thought. And so even before he started winning, going through the process, these seeds were being planted and he was listening. Because I've been doing it. So Jeremiah just graduated, started his freshman year. He didn't really start doing anything until he had to write that college application. And then he started applying for scholarships, and he got his first win in February of 2026. when I say it's a journey, it is a journey.
Yeah.
It's like planting. But it's shown him he can do hard things. He can talk, and he's not intimidated to apply for scholarships or opportunities or to do different things. Like, he knows it's possible. He knows that he can do it, and he knows that I don't think he compares himself to other applicants, to be honest. I don't even think it registers to him like, oh, I'm not meeting the golden GPA. He's just like, okay, it'll work out. What's for me is for me. There's other ways around it. And now he's starting to become more involved in the searching process, sitting down on his tracker and opening up applications that he needs to work on. And it's really great. It's really great. And he understands that I don't want to fuss. And so I don't, and that we are going to make it through this process and still have our relationship intact, because that was the most valuable to me. I did not want to go through all this, get him through school debt free, and then he doesn't even want to come talk to me or come home during breaks because I was so hard on him or nagged him. Like, I didn't want that for us. And that's not going to be our story. Like, we are intact.
Yay. And it sounds like to me he's taking more ownership of the process.
Yes, he is. Especially now that school is out. And so I'm like, oh, okay, you could take over a bit more because you're transitioning and you need to know how to do this, how to search. And yes, he knows how to search, but really sitting down and doing the search.
Yeah.
But yes, he's taking more ownership, and he knows it's possible. And he asks for help when he needs the help now.
That's amazing. And I think that's the type of transformational change that happens in students, that it's not necessarily attached to winning a scholarship, right? But when you think about the grand scheme of your son's life and the skills that you want him to learn, that's still just as important. And that's going to carry with him through college and his first job, and just being the leader that he aspires to be, like taking ownership, asking questions, knowing that he can do hard things. That type of skill set it's hard to develop, but it's possible when you sit and you go through the scholarship journey very intensely, which he has done.
Yes, because I ain't had time to play. We ain't got time. This bill is due. We gotta get it squared away. We gotta start seeing the results. I don't have months to wait to find out if you won or not. We gotta do all these ones with close deadlines to see if you have a winning essay. So,
and what does he feel? Because I know you gave us his overall scholarship amount, but what we did not tell people is that some of his money is cash scholarships. We didn't tell people that. Let's end on a high note. And I don't know if you have it written out. You probably do have it put to the side, but you can ballpark it for us. You can ballpark it. But because you sat in the boot camp, you sat in the webinar, so you know what a cash scholarship is compared to what the other ones are. We're not going to tell people too much. They need to come to our boot camps in the fall. They need to, you need to learn. You need to come on and sign up. But Ms. Norman can give you ballpark for you guys how many Jeremiah's cash scholarship amount. She's going to ballpark it for us. And tell us, how does Jeremiah feel just winning all that? Like, that is cash. Like, that is his money in his name. So yeah, tell us.
So he is over $7,000 in direct cash scholarships.
That is amazing. I would want $7,000. Somebody give me just a $7,000 check,
Like, all you gotta worry about, you don't have to worry about nothing right now. Like, you don't have no real responsibilities.
Are you guys going dorm shopping? Are you using any of that to kind of set him up for the fall? Or are you planning on investing and saving it? Can you help the people? We're not going to tell them too much on what to do with cash money, but give us some ideas about how you and Jeremiah are thinking through the cash amount.
Okay, well, hopefully we don't have to use it for dorms. And the reason I say that is because I had him apply for a scholarship that actually would furnish the dorm. So we're waiting to see if he gets awarded that. And then I've been putting money, just in general, prepping for senior year. I started putting a little bit of money away, I think his sophomore year, just for expenses. So we still have some of that left over, going to use it. And then catching stuff when it's on sale before right now because they raised the prices, but I have been slowly getting it. Definitely going to have him learn how to multiply some of this money. So I made Jeremiah take a personal finance class just so he can get the gist, just the basics, but it's something we still go over all the time. Just refreshers, and he wanted to. But I'm going to let him have some, about 10 and 20% just to spend, because if you don't get to spend it, then you try and blow all of it. And definitely guiding him on, let's see how we could multiply this, at least a portion of it. Because wouldn't it be great to not only leave debt free, but you could start life on a positive with some change in your pocket. Maybe get you a property if that's what you want to be, buy you a little business, however it is, but just so you're not in the same cycle of, oh, I had this money, I'm going to go get me a car. On that note, he does want a car. And this is one of the I said, man, wouldn't it be great if you won enough in scholarships that you could buy you a whole car? And he goes, I didn't think about that. You're right. So I use that as incentive.
Yes.
Also on certain types of scholarships to buy, to let them know, okay, a portion of it can go to that if you get enough or whatnot. So right now, high yield savings account, and then we'll work on the investing portion, but definitely having him get a return on that money.
That is key. I did not get a return on mine back then. I didn't know. So that's why I'm here now as the coach and expert. But the return is key. So you can feel like you didn't run down the 7,000. Like, you held on to it, you multiplied it, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. That is key. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It has been such a pleasure to sit down and speak with you. We have been communicating back and forth the past couple of months regarding all his wins, but I knew that I had to just sit down in front of you and hear from you directly, and also share this moment with other parents, even other educators that are going to be watching this, because I think it's important. The scholarship game, it's not something that you apply and you hear back the next day. It is, you have to be in it to win it. That's what my mom always said growing up. And it's a lengthy process. So your testimony, Jeremiah's testimony, I know is going to be what gets other families through their journey, because they may be in the thick of it, or they may be entering the thick of it come the fall. So thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome, and thank you so much. And parents, you got this. Put your clown makeup on and take it back off, but you're not a clown. You might feel like it, but you're not. So thank you so much. And I hope you got value from this.
Thank you.